Today on Studio One, it's always a pleasure to meet a courteous person. We'll spend a day in the life of someone who has courtesy in their job title. Also, many people would rather go out than cook something at home. We'll introduce you to one woman who makes it easy to eat in. And many women tell their hairdressers most everything. We'll tell you how stylists are now using that trust to recognize signs of domestic abuse.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Carrie Versdahl.
Well, there's probably many of our viewers out there who own pets or at least know other people who own pets.
Right.
And they become such an important part of the family. I mean, I know there's some people that even have Christmas presents and things for
birthday parties. I've heard of birthday parties for the pets.
Why not? Because they're so special. Well, we're going to talk to a veterinarian later in the program about how to keep your pet healthy and also the process people go through when they do lose a pet, because that can be a difficult thing for some people.
Right.
Sure. That's coming up. Also coming up on Studio One, with beef prices on the rise, many shoppers are taking a look at a healthier alternative. We'll tell you which meat industry is getting a boost.
Also, illegal drugs are found almost everywhere in the world. When those substances interfere with someone's job, there can be consequences. Coming up, we'll talk with someone who finds illegal substances at workplaces.
But first, here's today's news with Sarah Spencer.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. U.S. military leaders in Iraq are approaching the current uprising in Fallujah with a wait-and-see stance. Iraqi authorities and insurgent representatives are still trying to negotiate a stop to the combat. The U.S. has called for a ceasefire in Fallujah, but fighting has continued. The attacks have prompted some changes in military plans. Many troops that were scheduled to return home will now be in Iraq longer. Military officials are stressing that the uprising was committed by a small group of terrorists.
This was a few hundred people in various cities trying to, through fear and terror, have their way.
Vice President Dick Cheney headed to South Korea Thursday to convince leaders there to help with the military effort in Iraq. Cheney wants South Korea to send more than 3,000 troops into Iraq. The visit comes 1 week after South Korean missionaries were kidnapped by Iraqi insurgents. Deploying troops is a hot-button issue in the current South Korean election. Most states only tax consumers on non-essential food and beverage products such as pop, candy, and alcohol. But some states tax bottled water, and others are considering adding it to their list of taxable items. North Dakota already has a small tax on containers, small containers of bottled water because they're considered a convenience item. Other states are looking at taxing larger containers. Maine is debating a bill that would add a 20-cent per gallon tax on bottled water. The proposal would generate about $100 million a year in revenue. Some consumers question whether it's right for states to tax water.
It's just hard for me to think of water as something that you can get out of your sink at home being taxed. Nothing but simple money making.
Some environmental groups are supporting efforts to tax bottled water. In Indiana, a conservation group wants the added revenue to go towards preserving the state's soil and water resources. And you could soon be paying more for another popular drink. Within the next month, milk prices are expected to climb to more than $3 a gallon. One reason for the increase is because the demand for dairy products is higher. The importation of dairy cattle from Canada was also banned after mad cow disease was discovered in a cow that came into the U.S. last year. This has led to a shortage of dairy cows. Cheese and butter could also feel the effects of this. Some believe a pound of butter could rise to more than $2, but many dairy producers believe the prices will not stay high for very long. Many people may be putting something a bit different on the grill this summer. Recently, more meat lovers have decided to shy away from beef and make the switch to buffalo meat.
When most people think of a burger, they think of beef, but bison meat is more popular now than it has ever been. Doug Earl raises, processes, and sells buffalo meat from his ranch in North Dakota.
Seen some new interest just because of the fact that people do realize it is available and it's an alternative to beef.
He is glad to see the benefits from the new interest. Some of this interest comes from people on high-protein and low-calorie diets. Buffalo meat has 1/4 of the amount of fat found in beef and has lower cholesterol. Besides comparing nutrition, consumers are also comparing prices. One manager of a meat shop in North Dakota watches prices carefully.
Matter of fact, today I see the live cattle price went up 2 cents a pound. So that's going to be an increase again for this week.
And as the prices of beef go up, so does the interest in buffalo meat.
Price-wise, we're very competitive. Beef is probably close to an all-time high, so the buffalo is right in the same market as far as price goes.
With similar prices, buffalo seems less expensive to shoppers, and more people are willing to try it. That popularity means meat shops are carrying larger amounts and expanding their selection.
As a matter of fact, this week we are making more products out of buffalo. We're going to get into more of a frying sausage, a breakfast sausage, maybe even hot dogs.
With these new selections, buffalo meat can be added to any meal, and buffalo ranchers are hoping this adds to the growing demand. This is Laisha Kopp reporting for Studio One News.
Some producers say interest in buffalo meat took off late last year when a cow in Washington state tested positive for mad cow disease. They say that discovery was a deciding factor for people who were already interested in trying buffalo meat. And that's news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Well, you know, you talked about beef and bison meat, whether it was steak or hamburger, it's just nice people can get out and grill finally.
Yeah, and it has been nice, but there has been a few cold days too.
Yes, mixed in there.
You never know what you're going to get. So why don't we go to BJ Eisen at the Regional Weather Information Center, and maybe he can tell us more about this weather trend we're seeing.
Well, Monty and Carrie, you're exactly right. It's the typical spring pattern that we've been seeing, where we've been seeing some rainy days and then some sunny days, and it's kind of hit or miss if you're able to take out that grill. If we take a look at our average temperatures throughout North Dakota, average high temperatures, that is, for this week is actually in the upper 50s. So many places seeing this, but then some places are still a little bit below average, so a little bit cooler in this, but otherwise we're getting to that point where we are starting to see very nice temperatures. As well as in Portland and the Twin Cities area, it's that average temperatures in the 60s. So very, very nice conditions out there, very spring-like temperatures. For much of the eastern section of the country, though, unfortunately, this was last week with the jet stream. Very big trough of cold air dipping well down into the south, touching even the Gulf of Mexico. If we look into that now, that cold air filtered into the East Coast, and it kind of just sat there last week, and due to that we did see a southeast storm develop that tracked along the Gulf Coast, tapped into moisture from the Gulf first, then continued to tap moisture from the Atlantic and sat there and spun up, and with those cold temperatures was even able to produce some snow showers, which of course big problems down in the south. Here's your facts for the snowfall. 1 to 3 inches fell in Kentucky, 4 inches in Tennessee. Otherwise, there were 6 traffic deaths in Kentucky just due to that snowfall. On the rain side of things, though, there was 2 inches in West Virginia, 3 inches in Pennsylvania, and there were 2 deaths due to flooding in Pennsylvania. So this area is just not used to the snow and not used to that much rain. Now, the system did continue to move off to the north and east. It is not affecting their area anymore. And with the rest of the nation, though, pretty much dry conditions, especially down to the south. Nothing really to mention for them. We are starting to see storm systems form off the west coast and move through the upper part of the U.S. So a storm system moving through the Midwest, followed by high pressure systems. Then again, the spring pattern, followed by another low pressure system, so clouds and rain and things like that. And then yet again, another high pressure system moving in, pushing those storms through, pushing those out, bringing in sunny skies. So those are the days to get out and grill, but watch out for those storm systems moving in yet again after that. Here's your Studio One Weather IQ question. What surface tends to bear the most stress? Is it A, a dirt road, an airport runway, an interstate highway, or a yellow brick road? Monty and Carrie will have the answer to that, and we'll be talking about spring road restrictions all coming up in the second half of the show.
Thanks, BJ. I don't know. I'm going to go with yellow brick road.
Why not, huh?
I love Wizard of Oz.
Well, there you go. I'm sure it'll be a favorite by everybody. Okay, let's go to Greg Ankers now with sports.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. After dropping the first 2 games against the Avalanche, the Dallas Stars have begun to climb back into the series, down 2-1. A loss Wednesday night at home, however, would put the Stars just 1 game away from elimination. To Dallas we go in the first, already 1-0 Avalanche, and Joe Sakic adds to that with his shorthanded goal, making it 2-0 Colorado. Dallas would fight back, however, in the third, down 2-1, and Pierre Turgeon tries a wrister that goes off Rob Blake into the net. That goal would force overtime. In the second OT, it's rookie Marek Svatos leading the charge for the Avs. He goes top shelf for the game winner as the Avs win 3-2 and lead the series 3-1 as we take a look again. It just snuck in the net. More playoff action for you now. Ottawa and Toronto. Ottawa working the puck around, and Daniel Alfredson is not giving Eddie Belfour any chance on that one. That goal would make it 1-1 after 1. In the second, Marian Hossa gets into the act for the Senators. He stops and fires the wrister for the goal, putting Ottawa up 2-1. And in the third, the Senators pull away as Chris Phillips sends one in. The Senators roll 4-1 and tied the series up at 2 games apiece. With spring upon us, a new golf season is once again underway. Golfers everywhere are looking to technology to help them with their game. Major changes have been made to golf equipment over the past decade. The days of wooden-headed clubs and steel-shafted drivers are virtually gone. These days, club manufacturers are using titanium or carbon heads and graphite shafts to produce greater distance and better accuracy. The United States Golf Association has begun to place limits on what equipment golfers can legally use.
As of right now, the USGA's put a cap on the club size and the COR, which is coefficient of restitution, which just means how fast the ball comes off the head.
The famous Augusta National Golf Course has already had to deal with the effects of technology on the game. Augusta, home of the Masters Golf Tournament, was forced to lengthen the course to make it more challenging. And now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. With the NBA playoffs right in the neighborhood, we want to know what NBA expansion team qualified for the playoffs in their very first season. We'll tell you who made that historic charge into the postseason when we have more sports later on. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks a lot, Greg. An upcoming movie features 2 hometown girls out to get a new look. We'll preview a film where the twist involves women pretending to be men dressing as women.
Also, many businesses have their employees tested for drugs. Next, we'll talk with a drug tester about how some people try to cheat the system.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs. The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines. The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, twice named the best college television show in the nation by the National Association of College Broadcasters.
Illegal substances are found almost everywhere, even in the workplace. Employers are taking steps to keep the working environment safe with drug and alcohol testing. Occupational Health Manager Jackie Walsh is here to tell us more about drug testing at work. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for inviting
First of
me.
all, why is drug testing used?
We use drug testing in the workplace to make sure we have a drug-free workplace, which therefore produces a safe workplace for employers to provide for their employees.
Well, what kinds of employers are using drug testing and why?
A variety of employers. We do Department of Transportation federally regulated drug testing. We do pre-employment drug testing prior to hiring a person. We do annual drug testing. We do random, just spot check drug testing and drug testing for reasonable suspicion or after an accident.
Well, what types of testing are used?
We use usually a urine specimen type of drug test where we have a scientific test to insert a chemical reading of specific drugs that we're testing for.
How reliable are these tests?
Well, these are screening tests, and they're pretty reliable. We are able to test for positive drug use with the specimen, and then we do a confirmation test with a reference lab so that a scientist actually looks at the specimen and confirms that the test was indeed positive.
What kind of drugs are these tests looking for?
Well, typically the most common drugs we're looking for are marijuana, methamphetamines, cocaine, heroin, that kind of drug that is purchased and used illegally.
What can happen with a positive test?
If a test is positive, as I mentioned, we send it out to the reference lab for a confirmation, and then we contact the employer immediately and tell them that this test was positive and that we're sending it out. And typically what happens, at least in the all-true situation, but in most of our employers that we work with, is that the employee is put off of work until the final confirmation comes back. And then employers do a variety of things. They may have an employee assistance program where they send their employee for help and treatment, and to the point of actually terminating an employee for illegal drug use on the job.
Well, I've heard of people that have maybe tested positive for a drug when actually they're not using drugs. How often does this happen?
It happens occasionally. People can be taking prescription medication that has derivatives of these common drugs that we test for, and then we ask people when we're testing them what kind of prescriptions they might be on, and then we do indicate that on the legal paperwork that's done with the drug test, and we confirm that with the reference lab as well.
Well, I've heard there's different ways of cheating out there. There's talk about being able to buy urine over the internet. What are some ways people use to try to cheat on these tests?
There are very interesting and a variety of ways that people use to cheat on the test, but I will tell you that most people are caught. The logistics of the test are such that we can tell if somebody has tried to alter their specimen. Tests are tested for temperature, and so if the specimen did not actually come from the person being tested at that time, it will not be the right temperature, and that's automatically a positive test because it needs to be the correct temperature. They will drink too much water. They will use certain apparatus to produce clean specimens. They will bring in other people's specimens. Just unbelievable stories.
Well, what do you guys do then to try to combat this problem?
We have a very tight procedure because we are responsible for doing Department of Transportation drug testing, and that's a federally regulated test. So we treat everybody like that, and people empty their pockets. They're required to go into the restroom with nothing but the clothes they have on, no coats, no purses, no bags, nothing in their pockets, no billfold. We have them lift up their pants legs so we can make sure there isn't any additional specimens tucked in someone's gym sock or whatever. So that's what we do to try and catch those things, but we have the adulteration strip as well. So,
well, with new technologies everywhere today, are they helping out with drug testing?
Really, I've seen an improvement in the testing process just in the last 6 to 9 months, where we actually have a way to test that someone might have taken something to alter their drug test. But there's even things coming out now with hair testing and so forth. So there'll be new things all the time.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this really interesting information with us.
Thank you, Carrie.
Coming up, many people become attached to their pet. Losing this companion can be hard to deal with. We'll talk to someone about pet health and dealing with pet loss. Also, car trouble can put many in a difficult position. We'll look at how one person helps to take some of the stress out of vehicle problems.
University of North Dakota. Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Universal Pictures takes two hometown women and drags them into a different type of showbiz. The story revolves around a musical pair who have dreams of making it big. Connie and Carla are determined to keep their die-hard fans from disappearing. Soon they accidentally find themselves witnesses to a crime. They pack their costumes and head to LA, pretending to be men, pretending to be women. Stars Nia Vardalos and Toni Collette play Connie and Carla. Their characters experience the lives of real drag queens from the inside. Ironically, they become a hit. Nia Vardalos says the movie has meaning.
The message of the film is the same as My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is love that body, it's the only one you got, and trust your family and your friends because they're the only people that really will tell you the truth about yourself.
Director Michael Lembeck studied drag culture for the movie. Not only did he learn the setting and costumes of drag queens, but also how they communicate with the audience. This film hits theaters on April 16th. Now it's time to take a look at the events happening in your area. Some days it feels like nothing is going your way. You have 8 million things to do and your car is stuck in the shop. Today we spend a day in the life of one man who makes irksome moments like these a little easier.
Don Gunderson tries not to let a ride go by without letting customers know they're appreciated.
I like to make sure that I park on the side of the street where they're going to get out and they can go to the house or to the office instead of having them going across the street.
It's all part of being courteous, which for Don is more than a virtue, it's a job description. After retiring at 55, his wife asked him to get out of the house and find some work. Don repeatedly told her he was overqualified for the current job market.
Of course, after the third time, she started bending my ear pretty good and she caught on what I was doing and said, "You better get out there and look." So I said, well, I just thought of, let's try courtesy car drivers.
Don says in his experience as a courtesy driver, he has learned a lot from the folks on the road.
If you get an elderly woman, usually from out of town, from the old school, then they start talking about cooking, and we ended up where I'll get a recipe from them from time to time.
But even if the customers don't have a recipe to share, Don enjoys someone he can just have a laugh with.
Someone who likes to joke around, as you can tell, like that type of person.
But through laughter or tears, he's happy to get the customer from one destination to the next, always leaving them with a smile. With photographer Tyler Tupa, this is Emily Tobin reporting for Studio One.
Don spends about 10 hours a day driving in his courtesy van. He says that even when he goes out with his wife, he still does the driving. Coming up, For many, whipping together some hamburger helper is as close to they get to cooking. In our Studio One Spotlight, we'll introduce you to a woman who takes pride in appeasing others' palates. That's story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, there's lots of health programs out there for kids today.
It's a very kid-healthy environment.
Exactly.
In schools, I know they have different programs with food and
fitness and everything else. Well, parents are kind of getting in. Some parents are hopping in and helping their children out to eat healthy and things like that. Other parents just kind of stand back and see what happens with their kids.
Let kids be kids?
Exactly. Well, lots of doctors out there are saying that kids should be tested for adult diseases when they're kids instead of when they're adults to find it earlier instead of having so many health problems.
Sure.
So actually we went out and we talked to people about what they thought would be best for kids' health and how to deal with that.
And there are so many issues
Yes.
and just as many opinions. Well, also coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, when many women need someone to talk to, they often turn to their hairstylist. We'll tell you how many salons are learning to pay attention to much more than the latest styles.
Also, if you're someone who lacks creativity in the kitchen, you'll want to tune into our Spotlight story. We'll tell you about a woman who can work miracles with meals.
And many people own pets, and animals' health is important for them to live a nice, long life. We'll talk with someone about keeping pets healthy. But first, here's today's news with Sarah Spencer.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. The University of Wisconsin student who faked her own abduction last month is trying to reach a plea agreement to avoid trial. Audrey Sealer's attorney will meet with the Dane County District Attorney to try to work out a deal with his client. Sealer's attorney has not given any details on what kind of agreement he would like to reach for the 20-year-old college student. Until then, Sealer will remain free on a signature bond. Audrey Sealer is facing up to 9 months in jail and a $10,000 fine for 2 misdemeanor charges, including obstructing officers. The manslaughter trial involving retired NBA player Jason Williams will continue. A judge refused the defense's request to drop all charges against the former New Jersey Nets star. The defense asked for dismissal because they said the prosecution had intentionally withheld notes and pictures related to the trial. Williams is accused of manslaughter in the 2002 shooting of a limo driver. Libraries across the nation are struggling with a lot more than overdue books. Unattended children are becoming an everyday problem. With the high costs of childcare, parents are leaving their children at public libraries to fend for themselves. The libraries are seen as the safest and most responsible alternative to leaving kids on their own. Many libraries are finding they need to take appropriate action. They are enforcing policies that require children to be supervised by a guardian at all times. Librarians are concerned and want to make it clear that the library is not a substitute for childcare.
If there is a problem in your community, then something does need to be done about it, because children can't expect to be left at a library. We don't have food. We don't have a place for them to rest, and it really is neglect.
Some public library systems follow their state laws concerning child neglect. In some extreme cases, the police have been contacted. The FDA is warning makers of several popular weight loss supplements to stop making false claims on the internet. The Food and Drug Administration has sent out 16 letters to online companies whose products claim they can help anyone lose weight. The ads for several of these supplements say they can block starches, carbs, and fat calories. They claim this allows consumers to lose weight without any lifestyle changes. Companies are required to use ads that are not misleading, but many of these drugs are not producing the promised results, prompting the FDA to crack down. Hairdressers are used to helping people look good on the outside, but people in this profession also get a chance to help with the hidden turmoil their clients may be going through on the inside. As a salon professional, Melody Jensen not only makes people look and feel great, but she is also a listener.
People put a lot of trust in their stylist, so they really like to open up to us.
Clients often feel free to share personal stories with stylists like Melody, but with this shared information comes the potential for signs of abuse to surface. Because of this, a growing number of hairstylists have been called to do more than cut hair. They're being asked to help cut domestic violence as well. State and local programs are providing salon professionals with special training. The guidance they receive will help them identify clients that may be suffering from violence in the home.
I think it's a wonderful idea to have hairdressers be ready to respond, know where their help is available, and give them basic information of, what can they do, or how can they look at the situation, because it is a dangerous situation.
Hairdressers have been selected for this program for good reason. They see their clients regularly and build relationships with them. They can also spot physical signs of abuse, and many battered women feel comfortable confiding in them.
Yeah, they do like to come to their stylist and kind of look for answers, or just to feel better about themselves, because that's what we do here, is make people feel better and prettier.
It is the hope that with this type of training, salons will be able to reach victims who wouldn't seek help otherwise, letting stylists like Melody go beyond lending clients a kind ear. Last year, more than 120,000 cases of domestic violence were reported nationwide. And that's news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Sarah. Well, I saw something this week that I hadn't seen in a while. It was my first lightning storm.
Ooh.
I saw a little bit of lightning flying
Sign of
around.
spring. Sign
Yeah.
of spring out there.
Mhm.
It is kind of getting warmer a little bit, so why don't we go to BJ Eisen at the Regional Weather Information Center, and maybe he can tell us more about what's going on outside.
Well, Monty and Carrie, you're right. Many places across the country are seeing their first severe spring storms, that is, with the thunder and lightning and even some tornadoes and stuff down south. Nothing to worry about this week, though. So if we take a look at Check Your Weather for our viewing areas, it looks like the weekly forecasted temperatures should be right around average for many of our viewing areas. Unfortunately, it looks like Grand Forks and Winnipeg will be slightly, just a teeny bit, below their average temperatures. Otherwise, everybody else near the upper 50s or 60s. Now in Portland, it looks like they will begin with steady showers to begin off their week. Otherwise, warming slightly towards the end of their forecast period. Minot and Bismarck, rain showers for them as well, but then they will be clearing once high pressure does move in. The same goes for Grand Forks and Fargo. They will begin the week off with some possibly even some snow mixed in there due to overnight cold temperatures, but otherwise showers and then clearing after that with high pressure. Clearing for Minneapolis after they begin their week with some light rain, and then even the same thing going on up in Winnipeg, but they will be warming up later on. Many roads have taken severe abuse over the past winter. With the onslaught of a new season, the color of orange becomes a common sight on many roadways.
cracks, holes, humps, and bumps often lead to rough rides for drivers taking to the roads in the spring. When temperatures warm up, drivers may find themselves putting their trucks on diets.
That means that there's this process of the frost or the moisture that's starting to come out of the road pavement or the subgrade, and as a consequence, for a brief period of time, the roads become almost fluid underneath.
This process of frost coming out of the ground is known as frost heave. It can cause the roadway to expand and contract, leading to cracks in the pavement. It is at these critical times that drivers must follow restrictions. Damage to the roadway may come in the form of rutted wheel tracks and axle busting potholes.
And to the state and to the taxpayer, this means added expense at repairing and in some cases actually replacing the roads.
When restrictions are placed on roadways in the springtime, signs such as this one here indicate to drivers that weight is restricted to the highway, and if drivers choose to disobey this law, they could face hefty fines. I'm Matt Benz reporting for Studio One.
Roadways are tested in the springtime by dropping a heavy weight off the back of trucks, which we call deflectometers. Depending on how much the road flexes, road workers then know where to place road restrictions. Here's a recap of your Studio One Weather IQ question. What surface tends to bear the most stress? And your answer is B, airport runways. Monty and Carrie, due to all those heavy weights of planes and on and off those runways, it just crumbles those runways.
All right, thanks, BJ.
I sure would like to test the yellow brick road theory, though.
Guess I was a little off on that.
Yeah, just a little bit. That's okay. Well, let's go back to sports now with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. Many fans love the atmosphere you can only find at a live sporting event. However, for those who can't make it to the arena, there's another place they can go to fulfill their sports needs.
Once March and April hit, things start to warm up. As temperatures rise, many sport enthusiasts jump at the chance to spend all day outside. However, others choose to spend their free time indoors. Sports fans across the country trade in their shorts and sunglasses for a booth, a beer, and a big screen.
Hey, definitely get people coming in and watching the basketball games, watching baseball. I mean, we get everything here.
With the basketball and hockey seasons coming to a close and the baseball season just starting, sports fans have two options to feed their tournament cravings. Pay big bucks to get all the games at home, or rely on someone else to give them their fix.
You can't always catch all the games at home. You come at the bars, a lot of times they'll have them on TV. You can go watch them, for free at certain bars compared to having to pay at home to watch them. Well, it's a great time. You can come out and you can get yourself a few drinks, have some popcorn, and watch the game on all those plasma screen TVs.
At sports bars like this one in Grand Forks, North Dakota, fans can gather around a wall of TV screens and with the turn of their heads go from a one-timer goal to a behind-the-back pass. However, many fans agree that sports bars are more than just a place to watch the games.
You come here and the people are just jumping up when they score. It's like almost like being at the game sometimes.
So once March Madness hits, you can be sure to find many fans flocking to the nearest sports bar, ready to cheer on their favorite teams. With photographer Tyler Tupa, I'm Corey Morlock reporting for Studio One.
Sports bar owners say October through December are also busy months, with baseball and football seasons both coming to a close. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question. What NBA expansion team qualified for the playoffs in its very first season? The only team to accomplish that on this list is B, the Chicago Bulls, whose 33 wins during their inaugural season were a record for expansion teams during the 1966-67 season. And that's the sports. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Greg. An old pair of jeans or a faded t-shirt can bring back memories. Coming up, we'll show you how these clothes are recycled for others to wear.
Also, what's for dinner is a question everyone faces at the end of the day. Coming up in our Spotlight story, we'll tell you about a woman who always seems to have the right answer.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Many of us have an old shirt or pair of pants in the closet that we see every time we look. They're not bad looking, but you know deep down that you'll never wear them again. Other people might see those clothes as something they can't wear enough.
Racks and racks and racks of clothes. Racks that never seem to have enough room. And all these clothes come from closets of people like you. People often want a second chance, so why not clothes? Secondhand stores or thrift stores are a perfect place to put your old clothes up for adoption or bring home a new-to-you outfit. Everyone has old clothes, so it's no surprise that you see people, both young and old, taking advantage of the deals.
We get all ages. Probably the most are from the 20s up, but the teen age is starting to be great, and we're getting a lot more teenagers than we used to do.
Thrift stores are becoming more popular among teens, partly because the fashions of old are becoming the fashions of new.
Just old-fashioned clothes that still look good, because all the old stuff's coming back anyways, so.
Many people think their clothing and other belongings are worth more than a secondhand store will give them. For them, an option may be consignment.
They can bring their clothes here and I can sell them for them and they can get money. We will pay 40% to them, back to them. So it's not just, they don't just drop their clothes off and get nothing. We're consignment and we pay them.
And there certainly isn't a shortage in these secondhand clothes.
Oh my gosh, we do racks a day, maybe 3 racks a day, and I don't even know how many, 150 and 150, 100.
Obviously, it's a lot of clothes. Before you go throwing away those old clothes that don't quite fit or are on the verge of cramping your style, think about giving them a second chance, because they might be exactly what someone else is looking for. With photographer Jamie Marinick, I'm Bailey Nordine, reporting for Studio One.
Consignment stores often take more than just clothes. The consignment store in our story actually took in a customer's car and sold it. The Centers for Disease Control has reported that obesity alone will soon overtake tobacco as a major cause of death in the U.S. Pediatricians say testing children for adult diseases early on in life may prevent this rise in health risks. Some parents may be over-concerned with their children's health, while others take a hands-off approach. We wanted your thoughts on handling children's health.
5th grade's just awkward years for you, and you're seeing like magazine covers, seeing all like dieting tips and how to lose those pounds. And when you're like 10 years old and that messes with you, that's just, when you're 10, you don't know how to deal with it.
I definitely think that parents need to be more active in helping their kids make healthy choices.
One thing I think was great about my parents is they didn't really, I have 3 sisters, and they didn't really give them Barbies when they were kids, because the Barbie has a perfect body. They gave them more generic women's or girls' toys like Strawberry Shortcake and My Little Pony, and that doesn't really, that's kind of like a feel-good thing.
Parents need to make sure that their kids are making healthy choices, but they shouldn't overdo it.
Don't go to McDonald's. Make them go to a park, walk around, spend some time with your kids instead of time in front of the TV.
The busy pace of life keeps many families from sitting down and enjoying a meal together. Some people resort to fast food and pizza as a quick fix for dinner. Today in our Spotlight story, we'll see one woman that provides a slightly different option for a busy family.
Shopping for groceries. It's a weekly event for most people. Tina Tyndall is no different. She comes armed with her pen and a list full of necessities.
They've been sitting around for a while, but these ones are good.
She has some good ideas about dinner this week.
No tuna helper tonight.
Tina scours the grocery store looking for all the right ingredients.
1 tomato paste.
But when Tina gets to the kitchen, it's all business. She has a passion for cooking.
You know, I love cooking and preparing the foods and presenting them in a nice way that people want to, you know, eat when they sit down at the table. It looks really nice. This is really easy to make.
But the difference between Tina and others who like to cook is that people are willing to pay her for her passion. Her business takes her into the kitchens of busy families in her community. With her own pots and pans and spatulas, she cooks a variety of dishes. She can provide for her clients up to 10 meals a week.
Good to come home to a plate of this stuff.
Most of the meals she prepares are her own recipes. She's perfected many through years of cooking at home.
Never burned anything that, you know, I had to throw away or anything like that, so I've gotten pretty accustomed to timing it pretty carefully.
Although her food is flavorful, she insists that there's no spice to her cooking technique.
Usually I don't do too much bamming. My husband does at home though. He likes to do that.
In addition to her tasty dishes, one client says having Tina cook her meals fits her busy lifestyle.
Well, there's just not the stress. There's not the stress of what's for dinner. There's not the stress of what are we going to eat tonight.
Tina's home cooking service offers more than just convenience. She says it can help people who need to change their diet for health reasons. For Pamela, that was especially the case.
We've totally switched our diet. Total change in diet, and we couldn't have done it without her.
However, Tina's cooking is not always about the food.
I feel like I've become pretty close to the people that I'm cooking for. You know, it's really kind of personal what you want to eat.
But no matter how many people this personal chef will cook for in the years to come, her mission will stay the same.
You know, I like to help take care of people, and this is something that I think really helps people a lot.
And that's why she cooks from the heart. With photographer Jessica Denny, I'm Phil Zubrod reporting for Studio One.
Tina says her home cooking service is reasonably priced. 5 meals a week for a family of 4 costs $75 plus the price of groceries. Pets often become an important part of the family. Next, we'll talk to a veterinarian about how people cope with the loss of an animal.
University of North Dakota. No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota. Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect you with important information you need. Use the internet to access government services such as employment opportunities, license renewals, applications for government benefits, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded with the support of the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. To learn how we are helping you get connected, visit go.ndgrow.com.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
Many people become attached to their pet. Dealing with the loss of these companions can be difficult, but there are ways to help keep your pet healthier and living longer. Veterinarian Rick Odegard is here to talk about keeping pets healthy and dealing with pet loss. Thanks for coming on the show today.
You bet.
Well, first of all, most everyone knows that you can take a pet into a veterinarian like yourself and get a checkup. What are some of the things you're looking for in animals when they come in for the checkups?
Oh, there's several things. We generally, for the vaccination exams and stuff, we do a pretty complete physical on the animal. We're looking at the ears, the mouth, listening to the chest, feeling the belly, feeling for lumps and bumps. And a lot of what we do also is ask the owners about, what have you noticed with your pet? Is there something in particular you'd like checked out, or anything that seems different? And quite frequently they'll give us, some things to kind of key on and kind of point us in one direction or the other.
Okay. You mentioned some, asking the owners about, the pet itself. What are some of the signs that people can look for in their animals?
Any biggest thing probably is changes. The owner knows their dog better than anybody. So changes in behavior. Loss of appetite, not eating as well, not as active, more lethargic, laying around. Maybe some vomiting, stool problems, those types of things. Occasionally there'll be, behavior problem stuff too. Maybe they're urinating in the house a little more, or they're getting the owners up in the middle of the night to have to go to the bathroom. Those things can kind of key us into different disease processes or things to look for.
Okay. Now, what are some illnesses that when people come in for checkups that maybe they're surprised, by some of these things that you find?
I guess real common things. The two most common disease problems we see in pets is obesity and dental disease. And a lot of people think, well, the teeth are teeth, they'll have them for as long as they're around or whatever. But the tartar and the infection associated with dental disease causes a lot of other problems with heart disease, kidney failure, liver disease, those types of things. And obesity leads to the same problems we have, with heart disease. Diabetes is much more common. More wear and tear in joints or arthritis gets to be a more severe problem. Ear diseases, infections, those types of things. We see a lot of that type of stuff.
And a lot of those diseases you're talking about are just like human diseases, and it's interesting there's such a correlation there. It's the same thing.
Yeah, they're very similar. They're treated, a lot of these things are treated the same way. For diabetes, for instance, we send the clients to the pharmacy to get the same insulin they'd be using to bring in, and we show them how to, give the shots and how to monitor things, how to feed them, those types of things. So,
well, that sounds, some of those diseases are treatable, some of them not. Like diabetes, for example, that's something people have to monitor for a long time. How far do people go to keep their pets alive?
That varies a lot from owner to owner. Some owners, are willing to, go as far as it takes, whatever it takes for their pet, both financially as well as, time commitment. And other owners, just because of jobs or kids' activities, these types of things too, just don't have the time, and maybe you don't have the financial means to take care of them,
Well, because there's such a big decision to make with families, how do you play a part in that process?
As far as deciding how to treat?
Yeah.
Basically what we'll do is we'll go through, okay, first thing is this diagnosis, get to it, and since we're on diabetes, we can go with that. That's a pretty straightforward disease to diagnose, high blood sugars, sugar in the urine, those types of things. Once we've got the diagnosis, we go through what it's going to take to treat the animal, go over the costs, the stabilization period, the number of appointments we think it's going to take, and then it's up to the owner's responsibility to decide, okay, is this something I want to tackle or not?
Okay. Now, with some people, obviously they can't, do anything in some cases, and the pet dies. How do you see with this grieving process? You must go through it a lot with families as they realize this is happening. What's often the case with the grieving?
Well, the biggest choice for a lot of people, or toughest choice, is euthanasia. And pets have gotten to be family members now. They're not just the dog you step over on the way into the house or whatever. So they're family members. So even if maybe they don't have the financial means to take care of it, they're still very attached to the animal and want to do what they can. But if that animal gets to a point where its quality of life is more negative than positive, and there's not much that either we can do or they can do to help them out, then the last kind thing you do for that pet is to let them go.
Okay. Do you have any advice for people to prepare for this type of situation? Is there anything you can do?
I don't know, a lot, just to realize that when it comes to that point, if the pet's not happy, it's not enjoying life anymore, it actually is the last kind thing to do. It's still a very difficult decision to make because, like I say, they are family members, but it is the last kind thing that you do for them.
Sure. Well, checkups obviously are something you can do to help your pets and keep them living longer. Do most pet owners get regular checkups, or do you think it's maybe the other way?
I've seen some studies on that. I think probably 50 to 70% of the families that own pets take reasonable care of them as far as the vaccinations and health care, those types of things, feeding and those things. I mean, there are a lot of things they shouldn't do, not just what I can do, that they need to do at home to take care of their pets and keep them healthy too.
Okay, and you mentioned obesity and the teeth thing earlier. What do you think is the best advice to give people to keep your pets nice and healthy?
Number one is feed good quality food, stay away from the table food and the dog treats, all that kind of stuff. And then just the routine checkups. A lot of times we can find things that the owners aren't even aware of. And doing some good preventative care when they're younger, say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of age, is going to keep them healthier, and they'll actually end up spending a lot less money when they get to be that 12, 13, 14,
Sure.
15.
All right, well, thanks a lot for the great tips, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are interested in the topic.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Well, you're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Students in this interactive class at the University of North Dakota are learning together with other students from across the state. UND is committed to helping students take courses and even earn degrees without leaving home. I'm Charles Capcella, President of the University of North Dakota. For information on how you can get a UND education wherever you live, check our website at www.und.edu.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect you with important information you need. Use the internet to access government services such as employment opportunities, license renewals, applications for government benefits, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded with the support of the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. To learn how we are helping you get connected, visit go.ndgrow.com.
Tune in next week on Studio One. An extra few dollars can come in handy. We'll look at one business that can help people earn money in exchange for their small treasures. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with pictures of a skate park on a spring day, courtesy of photographer Darren Lean. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.